Hello everyone and welcome to this Broome-Isa trip reports video. Today we are going to be discussing if COVID-19 is going to be the death to the Airbus A380. Now I like to consider this aircraft as one of aviation's most ugly creatures, but that's not what we're here to discuss. We're here to discuss if this is finally the end to the Super Jumbo. Now this aircraft had its first test flight in April of 2005, on the 27th of April to be precise, from the Airbus plant in Toulouse, and that was mainly a show flight. Back then it had quite a few customers. Virgin Atlantic was part of the crowd, but they never took delivery of their aircraft. They cancelled their aircraft, so that says a lot. And since then, of course, a few other airlines have joined the Airbus A380 program. The first passenger flight then took place 2 years later, in 2007. I don't know the exact date, apologies. And that was from Singapore to Sydney. It was with Singapore Airlines, and that aircraft has actually left their fleet now, the first A380. It is actually now flying for High Fly, as a matter of fact. High Fly in Portugal, which is a leasing company. It was actually last used most commonly with the collapse of Thomas Cook to bring back stranded Thomas Cook passengers. Now, here's an interesting thing. Airbus, I question if Airbus actually came up with the design to the aircraft, because as you can see here, this looks remarkably like the Airbus 380. It's actually the McDonnell Douglas MD-12. It was developed for a replacement to the Trijet MD-11, but it's interesting how identical it looks, except for the fact it had power assist doors, but apart from that, and the McDonnell Douglas winglet, but apart from that, it looks remarkably the same, which is quite interesting. So now we come to discuss the death of it. So with COVID-19, 4-engine aircraft are starting to go away, with likes of 777X programs starting to go forward. So we will be seeing a lot more aircraft with 2 engines. So as you can see here, this is an Air France example in Victorville in SoCal. Ready, it's been stripped, it's been sold, and so at the rate we're going, the Airbus 380 might be turning into your next can of Coke. Now, Airbus didn't just give up on their dream baby program. As you can see here, this is the Airbus 380 Plus. It was sort of developed to be the Neo version of the 380, to try and just make it that little bit more attractive to customers that are environmentally conscious, because of course it's the 21st century and 4-engine aircraft just aren't the way to go. So as you can see here, this is the Airbus 380 Plus. One big interesting thing to note is that the wing fences have been swapped for this. It almost sort of looks like what you'd see on the 737 Next Generation, or the 737 MAX actually, so that's quite an interesting thing they've gone for with the wing. Now, one interesting thing is the Airbus 380 as a freighter. As you can see here, this is an Airbus design for the 380 freighter, but it's actually never taken off, except to now, because Lufthansa Technik in Germany have been contracted by their parent company Lufthansa to convert one of their 380s from passenger to cargo. So that's currently underway, and so that's a really interesting turn of events for the 380. However, there is another 4-engine option, which is part of the reason why the 380 never took off, because as you can see here, you've got 2 decks with 2 freight doors. It seems like a good idea, but it's not, and you'll see, because here is a 747 freighter from Qantas, one of their brand new aircraft, and you can see it's got a pivoting nose. And for those of you that know the jumbo jet, the Queen of the Skies, you'll know that it's got sort of like a little upper deck hump to it, which was actually part of the reason why it's been such a success, because during its design it was the 60s and supersonic travel was expected to be the future. So of course they wanted to design it so that it could still have a life, because when you build a new aircraft, it's not a cheap undertaking. So Boeing wanted to ensure their little investment would pay off come what may. And so, as you can see, they put the upper deck on the top of the aircraft so that it could be, so that you could pivot the nose up with the nose at the first class area, load your pallets in, and then the upper deck can be used as a crew rest area in that sort of environment. And that's what's kept the 747 flying, which is something that Airbus should have done, because look, they could have developed it like a combi, say, so if they stuck the flight deck on the top, they could have still had their two decks. They could have done it like a combi to compete with the 747-400 combi, which KLM have just recently retired, unfortunately. And so you could have your passengers on the top in your normal configuration. You could probably stick 2, 3, 4 even class configuration on it, so you could probably even stick first, business, premium economy and economy on it if you wanted to. But no, Airbus decided that that was too much like the 747 and they wanted to have their own sort of program. So thank you very much for watching this video on if COVID-19 is the death to the A380. Please feel free to discuss in the comments what you think. Personally, I won't be sad to see the jumbo leaving the skies. I've spoken to some advocate friends who've flown on the Super Jumbo and they say they found it really noisy and uncomfortable. Others have said that they found it really comfortable. The thing with the 380 is it's sort of a love-hate relationship. I've personally not experienced it, but I certainly think that two engines, the 777 is certainly the way to go. So, thanks very much for watching this James Broome-Isa Trip Reports video. I will be releasing an update on what's happening for the channel-wise in a few days. Of course, New Zealand has just been released, the Prime Minister has just released New Zealand from Alert Level 4 complete lockdown. We're now in Level 3 as this video is uploaded. So, Level 2, so I'm not sure what domestic travel is going to be like for this, but you'll certainly be seeing a lot more domestic travel, so there'll be an update on what's happening for the channel, and actually, I've sort of abandoned these aviation news type things, so expect to see more of them. Anyway, well thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.